In the fast-paced world of racing, women have steadily been making their mark and breaking barriers. The Ladies of the Oval program, run by Randy Butler and Sam Shaw, is a platform that aims to showcase the achievements and empower women in this thrilling sport. Partnering with the Stickers and Scuffs podcast, this remarkable collaboration brings to you the stories of successful female racers who have defied the odds and left a lasting impact on the racing community, or just getting started. At the heart of the program is a commitment to empower women and provide them with equal opportunities in racing. Through their initiatives, Randy and Sam strive to create a supportive and inclusive environment for all women racers. By shedding light on their accomplishments and celebrating their achievements, the program aims to inspire future generations of women to pursue their dreams in the racing industry. We are making significant strides in showcasing the accomplishments of women in racing. From Marley Owen to Amanda Balson to Jessica Power and Chantal Kalika, these remarkable women are leaving their mark and paving the way for future generations. Through our collective efforts, the program will promote empowerment, inclusivity, and equality, ensuring that the world of racing becomes a place where women can thrive and make history. Support Ladies of the Oval on social media, on Instagram and on Facebook, just by searching Ladies of the Oval. Also consider donating to their cause and providing sponsorship for women in 2024. Stickers and Scuffs has made our donation, and you can too. Hello, everybody. We are almost set for this episode with Kaitlyn O'Blenis, but before we get started, Kaitlyn wanted to make sure that everybody gets their due. And of course, when we do these interviews, sometimes racers get a little bit nervous. They do forget some of the partners, but it doesn't mean that they weren't a huge part of their program. So we want to make sure that Gates Graphics is recognized, and they get their own little shout out right now, just because it was a little bit missed in our interview segment. But they did the wrap on Kaitlyn O'Blenis' Thunderstock, and what a beautiful looking car. So without Gates Graphics, definitely the car wouldn't look as good. So make sure you guys give them a big amount of support, of course, because they are a proud partner of Kaitlyn O'Blenis and had a great looking race car. Anyways, let's go onward with the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Stickers and Scuffs podcast for 2024, our first episode of the year. And of course, we had to make it very, very exciting. So we're opening up with the person who's actually the lead for the 2024 Ladies of the Oval calendar, Kaitlyn O'Blenis, and her Thunderstock. How about that picture right there? Beautiful. Out of Brighton Speedway. Kaitlyn, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get started, all right? Brighton Speedway, running in the Thunderstock division, 9th place in the point standings. How was last year for you?
Last year was amazing. I definitely came a long way. Last year I got the most improved driver, and this year I got best appearing car, and probably my best year for my finishes by far.
Excellent. And so let's open that up then as to what was it about last year? Just confidence? Is that what it was? Or was there something that helped last year go a little bit better?
Last year is definitely, once you've raced a little while, you get in that groove, you figure out things that work better for you. I also got a new car, which definitely helps. We set it all up differently. We did different ways. My dad's really good at helping me out with that. So I think just definitely confidence, and the past experience is finally catching up with me. It's definitely helping out.
Well, we had a comment actually about your appearance on the podcast, And it actually says, I've seen her race
Mhm.
several times and she's the real deal. So that's got to feel pretty good that you've got some fan support already. And you're really kind of quite young in your racing career, right? It's not something you've been doing for like 20 years.
No.
So let's go back. How far do we have to go for when Kaitlyn O'Blenis started racing?
So I actually started my racing career in go-karts back in 2014. I was 9 years old. Um, and since then, I've just progressed different classes. I've done enduros, stingers. So my stinger, I started that off in 2020. And my first Thunderstock race in a metric car actually wasn't a Camaro, was 2021. So
Wow. So it is still relatively new.
yeah.
So I'm very curious about this because this is always anytime we do the ladies of the oval month, it's always something that I like to ask is it's not a typical thing that ladies go in and do racing. So
Mhm.
it does mention in your little bio in the ladies of the oval that you are a third generation racer. So how far does the O'Blenis history go in racing?
It goes quite far. So it was my poppy, my dad, and I. So my poppy started in 1991, and my dad started in 1999. So my dad's been racing for this is going to be his 25th season or like 25th year, and yeah. So he's actually I always grew up at the track, like always. There was never a weekend that I missed. So it definitely brought that. Oh, I need to race. I want to race, and I did, and I begged for a go kart to start off, and here we are now.
I love hearing that because it's the begging of it's crazy to think though. I mean, 9 years old getting into the wheel behind it, a go kart. So was there any fear to begin with, or were you just like, this is amazing? I love this. I can't wait to go faster.
No, I've always said, I'm like, Dad, I'm gonna race Thunderstock. Like, I really want to do
Oh,
that.
okay.
And it took a while. Yeah, it took a while for like to get money all out there, but sponsors that helped me get there. And yeah, I've always wanted to, and it's happening. So it's great.
And so Brighton Speedway. Let's learn a little bit about Brighton as to first off, is it just because of the family history for you guys? That's why you're going back there to race right now, location, or are there other places that you're planning on racing?
There's definitely other places, and of course, I would love to travel, but Brighton definitely, it's really close to home, like it's only about 45 minutes for
Oh,
us.
perfect.
Um, and my family has raced here, like that's where my poppy raced. And I've definitely raced, like I've raced at Brockville, and I've went to different tracks to watch, but Brighton's definitely where my friends are, where my racing competitors are, and definitely a track I know the best.
So let's talk about then the progression because go-karts we know that you can go one way or the other. So for
Mhm.
you, obviously having your father race on dirt and your poppy race on dirt, was it always going to be dirt for you, or did you ever think about doing asphalt racing or road course racing, or was it always just gotta have some dirt and sling some mud?
No, it's always dirt. Like even my slogan, it's "Dirt's my glitter, watch me shine."
Ah,
I've had that since
beautiful.
go kart. Yeah, definitely dirt. I would never want to race asphalt. It's definitely more of a you got to hold the wheel and go kind of deal. So it's more of a thrill, in my opinion.
Well, and so again, for me, I'm still really new to the dirt racing scene, and that's one of the things that why we do this podcast is to learn and grow and see different racers and experience and hear their stories. So obviously, I've been told several times I've got to get into, got to go and watch dirt, got to go and be a part of it. But for yourself, getting into it, only still relatively young. I mean, the still really young career, and you said it started in like 2020, which is like the pandemic time. So did you get a real good sense of
Mhm.
the racing scene yet, or maybe like was it last year that it finally kind of came into um uh, full scene because you didn't have any restrictions?
So, well, in 2022, it was a full year for me because 2021, it was like races on and off.
On
Like
and off,
you
yeah.
race, but there, like it was like every other. Yeah, it wasn't as much as like most people would call a season, but yeah. So definitely last year and this season has probably been my best for racing and getting under the wheel. Like it's been tough, but yeah,
Well, and
yeah.
so again, that adjustment period for you, coming off of not really, like you said, 2022, first full season, then you got 2023. Now you're going into 2024 and steady progression.
Mm-hmm.
Is there more pressure this year, or are you feeling, like I said, is it more of a confidence feel? Because the last 2 years you've had improvements and you've
Mm-hmm.
learned definitely a lot.
Um, yeah. So going into this year, it's really like the confidence is bringing me in. I have lots of goals that I wanna get a top 5 finish in a feature. Because this year I did really good. Like the last season I just raced, I did like almost every race I was top 8, and that's a big thing for me because the 2022 season, it was really hard. Like I was out of like top, like I was more of the top 10, top 12 kind of deal, and it's always been like, oh, I need to get up there. And my goal for last year was to get top 10 in points. So it was pretty cool that I actually got above my goal. So I'm just hoping for more goals in the next coming season here.
And so the field out at Brighton Speedway, how many ladies are we talking? Are you one of the very few, or is there a good amount, or is it something that maybe we still need to work on?
Um, there's definitely a lack of the girls, but there's lots of girls in go-karts, and I really hope that they choose to come up just like I did. But there is still quite a few girls. There was a previous Ladies of the Oval, Shannon White, she's
Hmm.
there. Uh, we have like Angie Kirby, she races in my class. There's another girl, her name's Tori, she races in my class. So there's 3 of us in my division, but it starts fading out as you go up. Like there's Kaylee Weiss and late models. There's quite a few of us, but definitely more for sure.
And so having a program like Ladies of the Oval, getting a way to expose kind of ladies that are a part of racing and not just there for, I don't know what you would call it, attention, but they're to race. I think that's been the hottest topic over the years is what when we're going to have a driver that's going to go out there and just dominate and be there and
Mm-hmm.
win. And unfortunately, it does. It seems to we get drivers that get close and then they falter or it just doesn't end up happening. So what's the end goal for you?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I think we want to talk wins and championships competing, but is it to stay in the Thunderstocks for the rest of your career, or would you like to move up and do late models?
So my goal is to definitely continue this on. Like I want this going further down. Like don't stop at third generation. Um, but I myself, like my dad races in Canadian modified currently, and I would totally love to move up to that at some point. I definitely want to make sure that I'm hitting my goals in Thunderstock first, but I will progress. Yes.
Well, and so then we go to again, we talk about progressing and having a good group of girls. I mean, we've seen that. I mean, we see it more on the asphalt side, I think. And that's just because of our background. That's what we're more familiar with. But I think having more ladies like yourself, do you know like that with this Ladies of the Oval program that you're being now seen by a lot more people and also
Yeah.
those younger girls that are finally seeing representation at the racetrack. And I think that's the most important thing when we go to the racetrack. Anytime there is a lady that's racing, they are the fan favorite. I mean, the kids absolutely
Oh,
love it. And I think that's the cool thing. Like I can't imagine as a young kid that finally gets to see a girl in there representing and doing well. So has that kind of struck you yet that you kind of are a role model for younger racers?
yeah, it has. I've had girls approach me saying they're like, "Oh, I want to be like you," and it's close to home because I used to be like that too. I looked up to there's like girls like Jessica Powers and Kaylee Weiss, and
Yes.
I've always looked at them and been like, "Oh, I need to do that."
Yeah, and now you've got that
And yeah,
opportunity.
it's
You
definitely.
yeah, you have that opportunity to do it now. And but what would you say, because there's going to be young girls that are going to ask you, how to go about doing it. What would you say? Because there is this stigma around racing, and we're trying to get rid of it through Ladies of the Oval, and that's why we have a month dedicated to it. That it is a male dominated sport. As we
Mhm.
all know, that's bullshit. It's not real. Um, so what would you say
Yeah.
to those young girls that want to get involved in racing as to either how to approach it, or where they should start out, or just some advice that you can give?
I definitely say that there's no limits, and don't let anyone tell you that you cannot race because you're a girl. Um, that is bullshit. um, and that if you want to get into it. Don't worry about what other people think. But if you're gonna start, if you can start young, I would say 100% start in go karts. It definitely helped me. Um, yeah, you learn so much. You learn the track itself because it's you start on an oval, you'll finish on an oval, and you just learn the groove of maybe how you should turn your wheel, like throttle control, like everything like that. It's definitely very helpful.
And in terms of a community, how is the Brighton community for you?
The Brighton community, I would say a lot of us are all like family. We hang outside of the track. We talk about, and we're more than, we just always want to help. And if you always need help, you can always come and ask. Don't hesitate. Like, we're that kind of people. And I definitely recommend you can come see me.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we've got a couple buddies, and we've got SNS driver that you're actually joining this year. You are only the second Brighton Speedway racer that's going to be repping our logos this year, which we're really excited about. But only the second driver from Brighton. Corey Halbert beat you to the punch. That's okay. Um, but now you're going to be the first female representation as well on the dirt for us, which is exciting. And for us, it's still a way to learn and to see how you do each and every week. So for yourself, have you set out goals for this year aside from and this is, I know we asked this, I asked this a little bit earlier in the podcast about, like, top fives and wins and stuff. But do you have to set like, how does it work for you? Are you setting a weekly goal, like what I want to achieve this week, or are you just thinking down the road? Because I guess that's something that as the young racers we really don't hear from is, that sure they've got everybody wants to win, but what is it that it comes down to? Like, hey, I just want to improve my lap time, or I just want to run better this week, or I want to pass this driver, I want to gain these many spots. So what does it come down to for you, at least?
So my division has very talented drivers in it. There's Jessica
Yes, it does.
Ramsey, Tyler, like all of them, and they're pretty well known. My goal going into every week is just to catch up to them, really, and to race with them because when I first started, I'd get lapped by them, and I was like, oh. So, and I now coming up, I'm actually racing with them, and I'm actually fighting for everything and fighting for wins with them and battling it out. And my goal is to just honestly hold my line, race a good race, and hope for the best because obviously my end goal, like I had told you, was top 5 finishes for this year, and of course a feature win. So definitely in the future, and I can feel it coming, and I just know that I have to stay strong and focus on the progressiveness of my driving itself.
And that's obviously something that's so important because, again, something on our podcast we really talk about is the mental health side of racing, and how it can be debilitating. Especially, I can't imagine if you're made it all the way up to the front and then all of a sudden you make a mistake and you spin out, and then you lose all that track
Mm-hmm.
position, or you have a wreck, or you have a mechanical failure. So when you do have those bad weeks, as we say, how are you able to move past it? What is there something that you end up doing, or is there somebody that you talk to? What is it for Kaitlyn O'Blenis that helps her move past a tough week? If it's just a tub of ice cream, who knows? But what is it that helps you move on?
uh, Definitely my dad and my poppy. They've all been through that. They've done it themselves, and that's what they always tell me. They've like, oh, I've done that, or it's been worse, trust me. And that they always help me fix my car, and they always get me through a mental block. Like before a race, they'll tell me like, "Oh, you're okay. It's fine. Do good. Just focus on this. Hit your points." And my dad, like that's how it started. Even in go karts, he would come out and he'd walk the track with me, and he would take me through where I should turn, maybe where I should let off. And I definitely feel that those help mental blocks and can help me progress as well. So it's they're definitely my biggest supporters to help me get through wrecks or fix anything I need.
Well, we know that there's always a lot of people that it takes to bring you to the racetrack each and every week. You've obviously got partners on the
Mm-hmm.
race car, and we always give an opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for our racers and those who are on the show to shout out those partners that got you to the
Mm-hmm.
racetrack. Obviously, we might not know all the partners that are going to be there for the 2024 season yet, but you had a bunch of partners for 2023 and a bunch of people, team, crew, family, whoever it was that helped you out. So this is your moment to shout them out and to thank all your partners and the people that got you to the racetrack.
So definitely my family, my mom, my dad, and my nanny, my poppy, Rob and Christine, Dale, Sandy, all of them. They've been like really good help. But the sponsors that get me to the track as well would be Excel Towers, Excess Storage, the Spa Company, BGM Metalworks, Castle Rock Crane, Hometown Accounting, Bob's Portable Toilets, John Stevens, Napney Muffler and Brakes. Yeah, I've got quite a few, and hopefully some more for the 2024 season as well.
It's so rewarding to hear ladies that come into the racing scene and are able to find partnerships and run well, and by all accounts last year was a big up step for you. And what's the excitement level for 2024, Kaitlyn?
My excitement level is through the roof. I'm so excited.
Well, so are we, and we're excited that you're going to be repping SNS this year on the dirt. Hopefully, you can outshine Corey Halbert and we'll make a really nice Brighton combination. But how can people follow along with your story? Do you have social media for people to follow along?
We do have a Facebook account. It's O'Blenis Racing. You will see me and my dad's though. It won't just be me, but yeah, Facebook.
All right, so that's Facebook, and of course, Kaitlyn O'Blenis, of course, is the January athlete for the ladies of the Oval Calendar. We are, of course, big supporters of everything that Sam and I've already started putting stuff on my calendar, actually. And Randy are putting together. So first off, before we finish, let's just give a quick shout out and what's it been like to have Randy and Sam and ladies of the Oval? How's it been to have them
Oh,
as repping?
it's been amazing. It's bringing people up. It's making people get attention, and not only to us, to our sponsors as well, because they don't get enough credit. They're the ones that get us to the track and help our cars, and they are just great. And I find that Ladies of the Oval reps everything, not just us and everyone else, and hopefully bring up the new girls into the track. It'd be amazing.
That's all we want to see, and that's why we have a month dedicated to it. Ladies of the Oval month, and of course, make sure you get out to Brighton Speedway this year and support Kaitlyn O'Blenis, SNS racer, and our first guest in 2024. Thank you so much for joining me, Kaitlyn.
Thank you for having me.
Well, that was great, Kaitlyn.
Thank you.
Not sure what's going on with my screen here. Sorry, I'm trying to end the recording and oh, there we go.